FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
Welcome. You are listening to the Financial Survival Network. I'm Kerry Lutz, and today is 10/18/19. We're almost at 10/19/19, which sounds like a lucky number to me. I'll be playing lotto with it. Well, you know, it's a crazy world. In most parts of the country, blackouts are something to be avoided. Power companies do their best. They buy power. They do everything they can to avoid this because they know it can lead to a social breakdown, looting, rioting. But California now is different. California is a state where blackouts are desirable because their grid is in such god-awful shape that it might cause sparks and it might cause fires because it's dry there, although the drought I thought was over. I guess they have enough water, but it's still dry around there. Well, the person you're about to hear from, the blackout passed him by. He doesn't quite understand why, because his neighbors were in the dark. But California is a state that's in the dark about so many things, and this is just yet another reason to vacate the state as quickly as possible. I'm talking about Joe Messina. You find him at therealside.com. Joe, hey, I'm glad you managed to keep your lights on.
Oh, I'm surprised I got to keep me. I figured they'd hone in on my block and go, okay, no, that block's got to go down too. You know, their mindset was we have every year at this time, we have heavy winds that come up from the south. So they're warm, they're dry, and if it's hot air, it makes it even worse. So they claim that the fires that started up north were because of a dropped power line last year that wiped out a whole city. And so they were trying to keep that from happening. The way they're going to keep that from happening is they start cutting power to those high tension lines that are in, you know, areas that may have a possible fire problem, right, with the heavy winds. Now, when they cut them up north, within 12 minutes of cutting them, there was a guy that died because of his oxygen tank. You know, they gave no notice, by the way. Yeah. They did say that they were going to start cutting power, but they just didn't know where and when. He died because he was reliant on oxygen, and the battery in his oxygen thing died, and so did he. You know, he was out cold and sleeping anyhow, and he died in his sleep. So this is just craziness.
Well, look at all the healthcare costs that were saved on this guy, right?
Well, it's the eco freaks, Kerry.
Net positive.
It's the eco freaks. So the Democrats say that PG&E and Edison are not doing the maintenance they need to do. The reality, though, is it's not that they're not doing the maintenance they need to do.
They aren't allowed.
There's so much dead underbrush, and there's so much, you know, you can't do anything in a forest. I told one of my Democrat eco freaks, I said, listen, you don't understand something. Mother Nature, that thing you love so much, it used to burn down forests on a regular basis. That's how it got rid of, replenished and got rid of all that stuff. And you won't let us touch them.
Yeah.
We have to protect them at any cost. They're nuts. They're just gone.
Yeah. Well, maybe we need sprinklers in the forests, Maybe that's the way to go. Or big
fans. Don't give them any ideas. Will you please stop?
Or we could do fans and they'll just blow in the other direction. They'll blow the wind back. This reminds me of the Beverly Hillbillies. And, Jeb was a good-natured guy, Jeb Clampett, and they were always trying to scam him. And he had $25 million on deposit with Mr. Drysdale's bank. And somebody came to him and they were really upset about smog in the valley. Back then in the 60s, it was even worse. So they got Jeb to underwrite these huge fans that were going to go in the mountain, and they were going to suck all the smog out and push it into the mountain. And he thought this was a great idea. He was willing to risk his whole fortune. Luckily, either Miss Hathaway or Mr. Drysdale managed to get there before the scammers got the money, or the scammers felt guilty because they were such nice people. And you're living with the Beverly Hillbillies, They really don't have a clue. Well, don't worry about it, because the wind will come. That wind, even if it burns down forests, will turn windmills, and windmills are good, right?
Yeah. There you go. Well, except for the birds, but other than that, they're great. Yeah.
Well, the birds and the fish. Now they're saying that they're going to have an ecological disaster in the Atlantic Ocean where they want to build these off-site windmill farms. Basically in the middle of the ocean, and this is going to have a real impact on the fish for some reason. I don't know what it does, whether it's the sound it emits or what, but they're building it right in the middle of a really prolific fishing area, which makes total sense. So you have to kill the environment to save it, is what it comes down to, Joe.
Yeah. Well, hey, listen, have you been following Governor Newsome out here in California at all?
Yeah, I think you're going to recall him along with Garcetti, right?
Yeah, they're gonna recall him, all right. That's not going to happen. I mean, I love all these people on my side of the aisle that go, "Hey, sign this petition. We're going to recall." You're not going to recall the governor. It's not going to happen.
Well, they got rid of Gray Davis once upon a time.
Yeah, but he was a Republican. That was an easy one.
He was a Republican. I thought he was a Democrat, Gray Davis.
No, I thought that you can look him up if you want to, but I thought he was. I thought he was on our team.
Because then Arnold won after that.
Yeah, Arnold.
That's right. Yeah, no, member of the Democratic Party. I gotta correct you on that one, Joe. But nonetheless, they got rid of him.
He was a squishy Dem then.
Yeah. Well, the reason they got rid of him was because he raised the taxes on car registrations to like $1,000 a year, and everyone freaked out. Now that's just standard operating procedure. So whether they do it or not is another question. But everyone's upset enough about everything else that they just might decide to take it out on him. This homeless situation here in LA. Let me tell you, I consider myself to be an expert in homelessness, not in how to treat them, because I've never worked treating homeless, but as far as diagnosing their issues, in New York City, 45 years of observing homelessness, and I know, and that the vast majority of it comes from mental illness, addiction, and alcoholism. Yep. Right? There are some disabled vets who are there. There are some battered spouses who wind up being driven out of the home. And there are what I would call economic casualties, people who are sick and lost everything and, basically wind up homeless. But those people are the easiest, that 10% to help. But there seems to be no political will in the state of California and many other cities and states around the country to actually deal with these people in a meaningful way, get them off the streets, get them into a therapeutic environment. Honestly, there are a certain number of them that you cannot help, and they just have to be kept in a safe place for their entire lives. But then there are those who can be helped if only they will stay on their medication. But under the law, you can't forcibly medicate someone. So what is a do-gooder supposed to do here? Because you want them to roam free on the streets. I had a big dispute with one of my buddies at Starbucks saying Democrats want homelessness. They crave it. They think it's a thing of beauty and it increases their power. Was I wrong?
Oh, no. Listen, it makes it look like they're the ones out there. They're the ones trying to take care of. It's all about them, right? They're trying to take care of the homeless people or what have you. And we know it's not true. Look, they won't even talk about it in L.A. Mm-hmm. Right? There's no conversation going on about homelessness other than how bad it is, and the federal government needs to step in and help out, right? Yeah. Because it's out of control. No, what they want is the federal government to send them money, and they'll see what they can do about it.
Money.
They could, they could already fix this. Look, Newsome just nailed $5 billion from gas taxes, but it's not for gas. He's not using it for gas. For the money was to be used to take care of our freeways, our highways, our bridges, that are decrepit and falling apart.
Yeah.
What's he going to do with it? He's going to use it for stuff like to help out illegal immigrants, their legal issues. He's going to use it to help scrub the air and scrub the water. Mm-hmm. And he did it by executive order. He actually stole the money. And Republicans in the state were screaming, "Look, no more gas tax money. Enough. You've got it. You've taken it from us 3 times. You've put these gas taxes into effect. None of that money, for all intents and purposes, has gone to fixing a single bridge. Not a one."
Of course. Why would they?
Yeah.
Why would they? That's the reason they took it in the first place. I would say stole it, because taxation is theft, and it's just a matter of how much theft they're going to engage in. But taxation is theft, especially in California. You're paying the highest taxes in the country, and what is a normal person supposed to do except move? I mean, you're a diehard Californian, but I think you're contemplating it now too.
Yeah, we're giving it a lot of thought because look, for all intents and purposes, they're driving out the middle class.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I mean, for real, they're driving out the middle because the uber rich is not a problem for them. You and I both know that the uber rich, a lot of the techie guys, it's not a problem for them either. And we've lost some of those companies. There were 1,600 companies that moved out of California in 2018.
God bless them.
And they either went under or they moved, and it's about time they started to figure this out. But again, you can only blame Trump so long. Newsome can only blame him for all the ills of this state, and the taxes are making it so that you can't. Are you familiar with Prop 13 in California?
Yeah, of course.
Right. So it's basically when it was put into place for residential homes, it was you got I think it's 1.3% or something like that of your home's sale when you bought the home, whatever the price of the home was. That's what your tax would be for as long as you were in there, because Californians are transient. They don't live in homes 20, 30, 40, 50 years. Guys like me make them nuts. I've been in my home for 20 years.
Ugh.
So my taxes, for all intents and purposes, haven't gone up a nickel, even though the house has, gone up in value.
You're a stable person. You're exactly the kind of people they don't want there.
That's right.
You're
they want me gone.
You're completely undesirable, man. You need to leave the state here, really.
Yeah, but they charge you for everything here too. You get bills for garbage pickup and tree care and street care and light care for the street care, and it's not like you just pay city taxes and they take care of all of that. But that's just the point. But I guess the bottom line, though, is this. You're right. They want people like me gone. They want me to move to Texas or wherever, but get the heck out of California because we're not who they want. I don't know how they're going to support. We've got first of all, we've got the highest gas bills around. Newsome just made it so illegals can have health care, right? They have free abortions to college kids. Who's going to pay for this if we're gone?
Yeah. Yeah, well, the state can't print money either. That's against the Constitution.
Well, don't say that. Don't give him any ideas.
They'll do it. Let's face it. They will definitely do it.
Were you telling me there was somebody telling me there are some counties across the country that are playing with dual? Dual currency, where you can pay county bills, county stuff with dual currency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's like script. They used that during the Depression too, when there just wasn't enough cash around, and it is viable to some extent, but it's a stopgap. It's not going to work in the long run because they'll print too much of it. The states, before there was United States, they used to print their own money, and they had hyperinflation during the Revolutionary War. The British, then you had the continental currency, and the British counterfeited it to help it hyperinflate. It doesn't work out. It's bad enough that the government can do it, but when you let 57 states do it, we don't have any chance. They're all going to collapse, but they're all going to collapse anyway. It's a race to the bottom. Can you stay afloat longer than Illinois? That's really the question, and it's really a race. I don't know who's going to win.
But Illinois is really in bad shape, though, right? I mean, didn't they?
They can't pay their bills.
No, they even when we passed the tax increases last year, half a dozen of those Republican legislators stood up and said, "Look, you understand this only takes care of about 20% of our problem," which I thought was really interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, but hey, this is our government here. You got to love them, right? I mean, they really care about you. If they didn't care about you, could you imagine what they would be doing? Really, think about that. If they didn't care, we would really be in trouble. We're so fortunate that the government cares about us.
I wish we do. You know what? I wish they would hate me enough to just to leave me alone. Wouldn't that be like really cool?
Yeah, it would be great. But I always wanted the IRS to take me off their mailing list, but they've just never seen fit to do it.
Oh God!
So, but, we can laugh about it, luckily, but there is going to reach a point, Joe, where it's not going to be a laughing matter anymore. It's going to be serious as a heart attack or terminal cancer. I mean, you could argue that it already is that serious, but just remember this. Whenever you look at the newspaper, this is what gets me by. My old law partner used to say this to me, and this was 30 years ago. He used to say, Kerry, the situation is hopeless, but never serious. So as long as you stick with that, you will always be okay.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So,
I don't know if you're into this, but the Brexit thing, right?
Oh, we love Brexit. We love Brexit, Hey, it's a recipe for chaos, but it needs to be done. It's part of the dismantling of the current system, making way for the new system. And we need that new system, but nobody wants to pay the price for it, which is, it's a steep price to pay. So at least the Brits, they might not know what they're doing, but they're going to do it. And, and we'll be able to learn something from it, perhaps.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next.
Osino Resources is a Ross Beatty-backed gold exploration company in mining-friendly Namibia. Osino's district-scale land package is situated near 2 producing gold mines, one of which Osino's management team previously developed and sold to B2 Gold. Osino's founders and management are experienced mining professionals who have already successfully developed and sold 2 companies in the past 7 years. Osino has an excellent shareholder base, with Ross Beatty owning 20%, insiders 5%, and Resource Capital Funds 8%. This is an exploration company with drills turning that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Osino trades in New York under the ticker OSIIF and in Toronto under the ticker OSI. To learn more, go to osinoresources.com. That's osinoresources.com.
The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.
But don't you think it shows with what's going on there, what's going on here? It is a shining a light, if you would, on the fact that the legislators don't give a crap about what we think.
No.
They just don't care.
They don't.
No matter what side of the pond you're on, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's the government. It's there for their own enrichment and their own whatever. They could care less about you and I. No.
Yeah. No. Hey, they can't make any money if they're not trying to make these deals, right?
Yeah, they're there to line their pockets. That's it. That's what they do. And hey, right. Let them do it. So, what can we say or do? Nothing. But
absolutely nothing.
Yeah. But if the ship's going to go down, I want to be there with the orchestra, with the band playing, while it sinks. That's the way
I want to be at the beach watching him sink, waving and going, I told you.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, so I don't know if you follow Canadian politics or not.
Not a whole bunch, but tell me.
It's far worse there than here as far as freedom of the press. There's an outfit called Rebel Media, and by all accounts, it is a legitimate news organization. They don't have any sacred cows, and
these guys,
they're just like, so they banned them from the debates. They're having an election there on Monday, so they banned them from the debates, and they went to court and got a court order saying they had to be there, and then they asked questions, and no candidate there would answer it except one guy who said, the suppression of the press is horrible. I'm against what they did to you. This one guy answered honestly, not necessarily on their side of the aisle. And let's go back to my favorite former presidential candidate, Bill de Blasio. Okay. A moron to the nth degree, but he's the only one of that shady bunch that went on to Tucker Carlson. Oh, no, I take it back. Tulsi Gabbard, too. But she needs all the publicity she can get because she's like a non-entity. They're just ignoring her. But de Blasio went on there, lied through his teeth, and was in total denial. But you really gotta give him credit, right? He went there.
Look, got to give him credit for going. Now, Tulsi, my wife thinks I'm nuts when I say this, but I said I think she was the only one. She was the only sane one in the group, frankly.
Yeah.
At one point, because even last night in the debate, some of those you could tell they were blocking her out. They weren't giving her time. They don't want to let her talk. They don't like her. Period.
She totally eviscerated Kamala Harris, I don't really want to say what Mike Dice calls her.
A few months ago.
Eviscerated her. She was finished after that. So you just look at this bunch of losers. Now, I actually was on Fox and Friends in the morning, like a couple of months ago after one of their so-called debates. And what's his name? Todd Pyro asked me what I thought. And I said, honestly, the whole bunch of them, none of them are even fit to clean the toilets in Trump Towers. None of them could have built up an organization. The reason they went into politics is because they were losers. And Bernie was the biggest loser of them all. I think Bernie, man, I don't know what they're giving him or what, but this guy is like a ticking time bomb.
He's done, though, don't you think?
Oh, yeah, he's toast. They've cut back on the ad spend, but he was out there like competing like he was really a contender. He was like Marlon Brando, right? And on the waterfront. I could have been somebody. I could have been a contender. And now look at me. Now look at me.
Does he have grandchildren? I don't even know.
Yeah.
He just needs to go. He needs to go relax.
Needs to spend more time with the family.
Yes. I'm there with you. But you know what? He come back out. He said, "Hey, I'm feeling good. I got this. I'm ready to go." Okay, whatever.
I had a myocardial infarction. The second I heard that he had to go have surgery, I knew he had a heart attack, because a person his age, they don't do those. They won't start doing that surgery unless it's an emergency. If they're partially blocked, they don't just instantly go in for surgery. This thing is, so I knew it instantly. And sure enough, that was it. But,
did you love his excuse where he said, "I didn't come out. We didn't come out and tell you right away because we didn't know what it was. Yeah. We weren't sure."
Right. Nobody ever had a heart attack before, right?
When they put the paddles on your chest and they yelled "clear," you knew what it was. Okay.
Yeah. When you smell Bernie's chest hair burning, you have a pretty good idea this might be a little serious, right? And but they brought him back from the dead and put him up there on the stage, and there he was. I don't
know if they brought him back from the dead because he still looks pretty.
Well, maybe he's half in the grave, maybe I'm exaggerating, but Bernie is like, you wouldn't buy a used car from that guy, because, it would have the odometer rolled back. The head gasket on the engine would be blown. The whole thing would be falling apart. And, he's just going to scam you because he's a scammer. They're all scammers. They're all accomplished liars. Hey, Trump says lots of stuff that isn't true, but a lot of times he'll say it just to provoke outrage from the mob, from the media mob. He knows what he's saying. And even though maybe it isn't true, it will, shall we say, point to the truth. So
I wish that a lot of them would just, it's time to go. That big group of diversity. Look at the top 4 or 5 candidates, all white people.
Yeah.
And so stop telling me how you're a group of diversity, but you can't find anybody of color of color and substance. I'll put it that way. To run, which I find just totally interesting on their side of the aisle.
Yeah. Yeah. And, the only one who wants to solve any of the problems here is Trump. None of them will even address the problems, let alone attempt to solve them. Trump, what did he say about homelessness? I think it's such a golden opportunity for the Republicans, or for a party that actually wants to do something to improve homelessness, because it's like everything is a lie about it. It's not an economic failure. It is a mental health failure, mental health epidemic. And if we get somebody, it's like, hey, you've got cancer, but you know what? It's just pain. So if we give you a painkiller, you're going to be fine, right? But you're not solving the problem. And that's what they're doing here. Oh, let's build affordable housing. A, the government does a horrible job of it. B, it costs so much that it's no longer affordable, and they give away the place to the developers. And C, the number of homeless people keeps going up, even with all their so-called affordable housing. So they're not solving the problem here.
And in California now, guess what we have? Rent control.
Yeah, statewide.
Right?
That's really great. That's wonderful.
Oh, God bless. I mean, yes, I know. And you know what's bad about it is the more I talk about it, the more I see how asinine it is that I'm staying here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Hey, if I were in your position, Joe, I would have left long ago. I left New York 7 years ago. New York, is not quite as bad, but in its own way, it's worse.
Yeah.
In its own way, it's worse. It's a socialist, Stalinist theme park. Just like you got your theme parks in Disney there and Universal, and then the whole state is a theme park in California, New York. It's a Stalinist theme park. And hey, will the last person who leaves please shut off the lights? And they can't see this, or they don't want to see it. Is collapse really what they want? They want the state to collapse?
I don't know. I'm not smart enough to know, but I'm trying to figure out how does it benefit California to drive out the middle class? You know what I'm saying? I just don't get it.
Yeah, I don't understand it either. And hey, you're dealing with somebody who can't deal with reality. I'll see people here in Florida from California. They'll say, yeah, it's a great place, but it's a failed state. And they either take offense at it or totally don't understand what I'm saying. I mean, it is a failed state. Your state has failed
miserably. Not just kind of, sort of. It's almost like California and Illinois are fighting hard to see who could be the worst at this, right?
Yeah, yeah. And what are we left to do when it fails? What are we supposed to do when it fails? Bail it out?
They'll want to bail out. It's exactly what Newsome was blaming Trump. Because of the economy is why they have such a high number of homeless people, because now what happens, the economy went up, means that housing is worth more money. People want more money for renting out their homes and apartments, and therefore the people in the street can't afford that. They're working in the city. Well, you know what? Work in a suburb. Get up earlier, drive into work earlier. Okay? Get home later. Too bad. Deal with it. That's life.
Hey, people who get priced out of neighborhoods don't say, the street is looking pretty good. I think I'll just move to the street. No, they move to a less expensive neighborhood. It's been done. It's the normal course of economics. Now, you might debate whether that's fair or not. They're being driven out of their home for so many years that they've been there, and all because the price of housing has gone up. And you might be right, but there's a thing called economic reality, supply and demand. When you put rent control in there and all these building restrictions and everything else, there's not enough housing being built, and therefore you're going to have shortages. And so they're their own worst enemy, effectively.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
yeah. No, I hear you. And again, Trump has become the catch-all for everything, which I think is hilarious. Just keep blaming him. It's all right. You show your real colors when you don't let it go.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right?
That's true. Hey, so what about that Obama economy, huh?
Yeah. Isn't it great?
Yeah. I mean, he really did a much better job after he left than when he was there. Things got so much better that you have to wonder, how did that happen?
Well, I always say, if he knew that it would get that much better when he left, why didn't he leave earlier?
Yeah.
Right? If he really loved the country that much. But no, I love this. And they cherry pick which parts belong to Obama and which part belongs to Trump, which I just love to death. I just think it's wonderful, and it's tiresome because that's how disingenuous that they are. The economy, every time the stock market dips, it's because of something Trump did, and the stronger it gets and the better unemployment gets is because of something that Obama did.
Yeah, years ago.
It's so whatever.
Yeah.
See,
well, you got to
try to get me to lose my lunch.
You got to give credit where credit is due, Joe. So, California is basically like the UN. Right now, California is almost running out of money, but the UN has run out of money. How could this happen?
We are 22% of. Well, I'm sorry. We pay 22% of the UN budget.
Mm-hmm.
So I want you to think about that. How many services of the UN do we actually use? Do you think? You think we're using 22% or more? Are we using 18%?
We're using
you're the numbers guy.
I don't think we're using any other than they give us those orange boxes to give our kids for UNICEF for Halloween. But I think that's the only service they provide. So
yeah, it's amazing to me. And I sit there and I keep going, we don't use their services. They're on our land here, right? They're constantly coming after us, and yet we pay 22%. And now they're looking to us to bail them out. They want us to bail them out. And I'm going, don't you dare give them a nickel, because there's still a whole bunch of, what do they call them? Nation members that haven't paid their bill yet. So what are we doing?
Hey, all I know is that the spot where it is on the east side of Manhattan, it's got river views, be great condo complex, and let them sell the building and move to a lower tax jurisdiction. Like,
oh yeah, put them in Harlem.
Actually, could put them in another country where the operating costs would be much less.
Put them in Cuba.
Yeah, Cuba is a really low cost economy there. Be perfect. Yeah, and that's what they're into, socialism. Let them be in the thick of it. So
yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah,
I am with you.
So all these things are on.
I mean, now that you've totally depressed me.
Well, it wasn't my intent. Remember, this situation's hopeless but never serious, Joe.
I don't know if I agree with your friend, but okay.
Well, you got to make an effort to, even if you can't. So anyway, it's therealside.com. Make sure you go over there, sign up for Joe's newsletter, a great newsletter. Joe, we will catch up with you soon. Hopefully we'll come out and visit you if the lights are on. And
please.
if our airplane is allowed to land there, because, you know, people that fly have a much bigger carbon footprint than people who hitchhike.
Yeah, you should walk. I mean, really, how much of a carbon footprint is there then?
I think you're still breathing out CO2, though. There's no way to get around that. Maybe if we had,
these people.
God forbid you have stomach problems, then you're as desirable as a bovine flatulence, you know, then they really want to get rid of you, you know?
Well, they should ban belching from volcanoes then, right?
Yeah. Hey, and, you know, it's like old people put out much more flatulence than younger people.
Oh.
So that tells you what we need to do here. This is an effort at population control. Get rid of those needy seniors. They just use all the medical service. They get all the Social Security and all of these great things. So we got to do something here, Joe. We got to do something.
Yeah. I had told somebody that it almost appears like Hillary may jump back in again. They're making it appear like that.
You really think so?
Well, I think they're making it look like there's a possibility she might jump in. I said to somebody, I think she's doing that so she can get some more money into the foundation.
Even the slush fund?
I just, hey, look, I'm giving some serious thought to running again. Would love it if you were on my side, and if you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And I mean, these people, they need see them and Schumer.
Yeah.
You know, and Biden, they all just need to go enjoy your grandchildren. We don't want to see you anymore.
Yeah, really. Spend more time with your family and get the hell away from us.
Bless.
That's what I say. Well, anyway, that's it for now. Joe, appreciate you coming on therealside.com.
Thanks for having me.
Questions, comments, email is kl@kerrylutz.com, Twitter feed @KerryLutz, Facebook page, Financial Survival Network. We'll catch up with you later, Joe. Be well.
Take it easy. Thanks for having me.
FSN Radio. It's all about what's next. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and sign up for your free weekly newsletter. You'll also get 3 free reports. The Financial Survival Network. It's all about what's next.